channel. Now, if you don't already know me, my name is Amber. I'm a spirit-led life coach. I've also created a group on Facebook called the Messy Pixie Community, where like-minded people can come together and support each other in their spiritual walk. But today, what I want to talk to you about is the concept of fear. So when we as human beings are born into this world, we learn pretty fast that when we are filled with fear, we should step back and not do something that we're trying to do. This is the same internal niggle that kicks in when you're standing someplace that's too high, or you're about to be hit by a car, or you're in any way endangered. The problem is that what fear really assesses is if there is a risk involved in a situation. And that can become a problem in your life when you're trying to step outside of your comfort zone. You see, your ego and your body really love it when you're really all comfy and complacent in your comfort zone. They love you to be exactly where you are. As long as you're being fed, you have shelter, you're somewhat comfortable, your ego and your body will allow you to stay in that space. And anytime there's any kind of a risk involved, they will tell you, oh no, be scared. And that can show up in fear, it can show up in anxiety, it can show up in overthinking, it can show up in depression. And a lot of times, people will let those overwhelming emotions stop them from doing these awesome, sexy, really big, amazing things that they're capable of doing in their lives. And it's completely normal because it's really hard to take a moment and step back and assess, am I actually in danger here, or am I just afraid because there's a potential loss? You see, fear kicks in when we're afraid of things like being judged, when we're afraid of having to invest financially in something, when we're afraid of possibly failing and having to try something again. But it also kicks in when we're like being chased by a bear. What I have to say is this: unless you're literally being chased through the woods by some kind of a rabid deer, or swarmed by killer bees, or in a shark tank, you have nothing to actually be afraid of. No matter who you are, how cool you are, how successful you are in this life, there are going to be people who don't think you're that cool or successful. And no matter what it is you want to do with your life, as long as it's not in that icky sticky comfort zone, it's going to involve some potential risk. So there's always a chance for fear to come in, sweep you off your feet, and make you stop living up to your potential. But is that what you really want to happen? Or do you want to do the fearful thing anyway and then rise into who you can really be? See, here's the thing about successful people, the people that you look up to, the people who have comfy bank accounts, the people who you idolize. They're scared all the time. They lay in bed at night just like the rest of us, and they think about everything that could possibly go wrong. Sometimes they get famous and then they have to read their Instagram comments about how they're awful people, or they didn't do so great in a movie, or whatever the case may be. You see, no matter how high you rise, there will always be critics and there will always be risk. So the question is, are you willing to step out of being comfortable and complacent, be a little bit afraid, and do the awesome thing anyway? Or are you just going to stay where you've been all of this time? Remember, your body and your ego will allow you to settle for less, but you were not born onto this earth so that you can be the bare minimum of what you can possibly be. You are here on a mission, and you probably believe that you're supposed to leave this world a somewhat better place. But the only way to possibly do that is to be willing to be afraid and move into a space of action anyway. So I always tell my clients to go ahead and do the layering effect. That means you take one small thing and then another small thing and just pile them on top of each other, action after action, until suddenly, voila, you've reached your goal. So what I challenge you personally to do this week is to take a goal that you have and put it in your mind. Take stock of what you're actually afraid of. Are you afraid of the action? Are you afraid of the finances? Are you afraid of criticism? Are you afraid that you might fail? What is it that you're actually afraid of? Go ahead and write that down and set it on fire. Then I want you to take one small step this week and focus on that step toward your goal. And it doesn't matter if you're scared. Be afraid and do the thing anyway. And then next week, I want you to take the next step. I want you to layer these small actions every single week until suddenly you've changed your own life. And it really is that simple. Because once you allow yourself to feel scared, feel anxious, maybe even feel a little bit depressed over what it is that you want to see happen to your life, but you step into a space of action despite those feelings, you will become an incredibly successful and motivating human being. That is literally what sets you apart from other people. So feel the fear and do it anyway. It's some of the best advice that you will ever hear. So if you've stuck with me through this entire video, I want to say thank you. You've been really great. And if you'd like to see my videos coming up next week, go ahead and subscribe, the bell button below. Thank you for watching and have an amazing day.